Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome to another edition of the AFC North Talk here on schedule release day. That's last week. And obviously, we last week finished rounding out the draft. And I don't know about y'all, but all I get now is from the AFC North fans. It's like, okay, so where are we ranking? Where are we ranking positions?
Yeah.
Where are we ranking positions, right? they won that. So we're gonna try. We're gonna try to compact all the schedule release things in one show. Go ahead, Q.
One thing we're not ranking: special teams. I refuse.
No, we haven't. I already listen. By the way, you're on the wrong mic. Quizzy, your mic.
I think it's on the AirPods. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's on your AirPods.
All right. Well,
I did my rankings, by the way. They're on
Quality
Twitter. You can see them all. If you sharpen the image,
He said it's an AirPod quality conversation.
We'll even get to be on the main one when it comes to this audio. But yeah, no, I refuse. I refuse to sit here for 2 hours. I love you guys all. You guys are some of my favorite people to talk football with, but we ain't gonna be talking about football. We gonna be talking.
If I got to do quarterback, you got to do special teams. That's how.
I'm not doing punter. Like if the second you get me to sit here and talk about a punter for an hour, is the day that my courts has been taken over by a different soul. Like if I'm ever like, let's go rank these punters, just know that man changed.
Those Ravens spaces, you might want to stay out of them Ravens Twitter spaces.
That's all they got to talk about. They ain't got no wide receivers in Baltimore.
Fourth round punter for about an hour in there.
The Ravens offense is Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, and Justin Tucker. That is all of the weapons that they have.
The running back slander. I don't disagree.
I mean, those are the 3 all-pro players they have, right? Those are only 3 players on that offense going to make all-pro. They're going to score points. Am I wrong? Is James Prochet going to be all-pro?
It's a high bar, but I appreciate it.
I mean,
Quincy, you would have loved that one, bro. They said that a punter was going to win them a Super Bowl. And I was like, if Quincy could hear this.
You know what was driving me crazy? Like, and Bengal fans, y'all do this sometimes, and I don't understand it. But it's like, okay, I get it. You want to get the kicker some credit. And look, I think the kicker deserves a ton of credit because he did a tremendous job. But being like, yo, Joe Burrow and the kicker took us to the Super Bowl is wild to me. That is wild.
I can get behind the kicker. I cannot get behind the punter.
I get giving him his support.
At least a kicker can get points. What is what points is a punter getting?
When they're making videos about Matt Ariza about to change the league, not in any way I give a damn about. Like, what are you talking about? Like, again, I did not want to start off the show with a 10-minute rant about how much I hate special teams or how much I hate the level of serious analysis that we try to have about special teams, a subject in which none of us know what we're talking about when it comes to this. So that's all I'm saying, man.
Dude, but I heard that you have a video. Experts. I heard you have a video on long snappers around.
No. There's a video on this channel when I told y'all about Austin Seibert. And you know what? I should have knew about Oklahoma fans when I made that video. Because who was out there arguing with me about Austin Seibert being a good NFL kicker? Oklahoma fans. I should have knew about them when I did that video. Out here arguing with me that this 5'8" kicker that's missed 6 of his last 10. Oh, he's the GOAT. Nah, I'm good.
So just to recap before we go to the first schedule. Allen Robinson. We have special teams. We have
anyone on special teams whatsoever. Yep.
Kingsbury, right? Kingsbury.
It's like playing Minesweeper.
Anybody else? Like
Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown. Yeah.
Oh no, Hollywood Brown off the list. I like Hollywood Brown now. You know what I mean?
Now that he's out of the division, he's
playing with Cliff Kingsbury now. That's the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like.
I feel like there was a quarterback. There was a quarterback that there was in. This
Heineke. How could we forget?
They'll forget
Heineke and Kirk Cousins.
You know what was wild? I was wild. I was going at Heineke and Kirk Cousins while out here still actively being like, hey, Baker could work. And that was one of the most wild eras of Quincy right there. Hopefully, we don't see a return.
Okay. The Noah Stone here says Tom Brady got a TV contract, pretty big one, before Lamar got his contract.
Damn, that's true though, Lamar. You better get that Tom Brady TV money at least, man. That's crazy. They
TV
don't want to
money.
pay you like they want to pay that man. I bet Baltimore would have paid Tom Brady by now, but they ain't paying you. You gotta leave. You gotta leave, Lamar.
Gotta leave. Gotta get out of there.
Gotta go. They don't love you in the AFC like they would love you in the NFC. I'm telling you.
How much money is in this TV? That he got more than any other player. It's all guaranteed, as far as I understand.
Is he getting paid now?
No.
Oh, I thought this 10-year deal just started now, and then like they'll just pay out the rest of his career until he actually does something. Like this, it was 10 years.
The day that he retires, the day that he retires becomes effective the following day.
Boy, he wasted all of his money on his 401k plan. Like, what was even the point, right? If you got a retirement gig like that lined up, like, oh yeah, the day I retire from my job, I'm gonna make $35 million a year at Fox. Like, his 401k was what was the point? What was the point of being Tom Brady's accountant over all these years?
Okay, so one of the themes that I've been pushing, by the way, since Quincy, I think, was the one that brought up, we need to sit in this quadrant by rankings, right? That's why Ace is over there in the left corner. I'm here all sat on the right corner. When I put the Twitter mentions, I go Ace, Tony, Quincy, I'm last, and I all sat on the last. And every time we bring in schedules and rookies, we have been going from worst to first. So we're gonna start with the Ravens again. Hopefully, as the season starts, we're not here in the bottom. Ravens.
I hear that people were predicting the Ravens to go 5-12.
Oh my goodness! Yes,
that's wild.
I saw that. That was insane.
5-12.
What? The Dolphins apparently think that they're sweeping the division. So if you run into some Dolphins fans,
hey man, the beauty about this part of the year, everybody thinks they're gonna be above 500, right? It's all slander.
Yes.
I heard a Jets fan get mad because somebody was like, Jets might go 8-9 or whatever it is, and they're like, oh, the disrespect is crazy. I'm like, you're the Jets.
They said I saw them. I jumped in one of the spaces. They said that they would go 3-1 against the AFC North. Multiple people said that the Jets fans were gonna go 3-1 against this division.
You know what's the saddest thing is when team fans of their team start saying like, "Hey man, you don't know. You sleeping on all of these players. They list them, and you've never heard of any of these names. You're like, okay, I am sleeping on these guys because I have never worried about any of these guys. Like Quentin Williams, is he still good? Like I have no idea what the progress is because it's been that long since I've ever cared about what the Jets are doing. Like it just.
I am catching huge G's on Zach Wilson. Like anything when you hear them talk, they avoid saying Zach Wilson. And there is a reason for that.
Because the only quarterback that looked good last year was Mike White.
True.
Exactly.
Hey, listen, Mike White looked. He had like a 3-game stretch there where he looked like
he looked better than Zach Wilson ever did.
Oh yeah,
like, that is looking like there's some parallels between that and the Commander situation with RG3 and Kirk Cousins. I think that there's some parallels there. Ooh. They drafted 2 quarterbacks, one way later, one super early. And they want to give it to the top guy now, but I don't know, bro. Mike White might be better.
What I don't understand by Jets fans and kind of Dolphins, although Dolphins have been better, is they will tell me, "Oh, why are you disrespecting us?" And I'm like, go back just the last 3 seasons. We don't have to go historical. I don't care about history at this point. Just tell me in the last 3 seasons, what have you done? And that's why I disrespect you. Then win this year, and then we can talk something different. That's all. Just give me one season. One season.
Sonny, is it disrespect? If you just predicted what is most likely to happen, right? Like, it's not disrespect if you out here just saying, well, you know, there were 5 wins last year, probably gonna get 6 wins this year. That's an improvement. That's not disrespect. That is showing the appropriate amount of disrespect. You respect your team too much. You need to disrespect your team a little bit more, Jets fans.
Yeah. Like the Dolphins.
Vegas has the Jets win total at 5.5.
Look at that. I mean, accurate.
Dog, when your team could go under 500 and you can still make money taking the over, your team does not deserve any respect at that point. You have to earn it on the field. Like that just is what it is. If you can take the over and that's still not at 500, hey, bro, you just gonna have to take whatever people gonna have to say about your team until they prove otherwise. Ain't that right, Bengal fans? And when you come back on that, look, y'all can come back as hard as y'all want, but until that day, nobody want to hear.
Not only that, Q.
Hey, all you Jets fans, if you like it, take that over then. If you that confident, take that over.
Not only that, you can make money and still be like a top 8 pick.
You can get your quarterback of the future and still win that bet, man. That's a good over. You know what I mean?
If you think they're okay. Let's
go. So for us, the Ravens, we actually leave our division. We say, you know what? Let's take a break out the North, and we actually go and play. We are part of a different division as we open on just purely the AFC East. We go Jets, as we were talking about the Jets at New York, Miami, New England, and Buffalo. So our first 4 games is purely AFC East, and you know what? I don't care. I mean, I think it's fine. You take the East out of your division, out of your system quickly. To be fair, what I would love, by the way, I don't know if I said this before, how I would love these schedules to be just done. It will be first 4 games in division, last 4 games in division, and then you squeeze the rest in the middle. You start with your division, you finish with your division, and in the middle you play whoever else you have to play. So we moved to a different division for the first 4 games. I think it's fine. No primetime game, which Sonny appreciates. I know some Ravens fans hate it. I appreciate not having no primetime games. Just selfishly. Anything you want to say? You guys want to say about the first quarter?
The first quarter, yeah. I mean, when you're the honorary member of the AFC East,
Yes.
no, I mean, I think two home, 2 on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all 1:00 games to start the season. You don't get any no early season prime time yet.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
but
no,
it's Ravens over under for this year.
The Ravens over under on win total currently stands at 9.5.
See, that's a respectable win total.
Yeah,
it is.
It is.
I mean, I think it's dope that they get to get all of those AFC like divisional games out of the way like early. Like you just go back to back. You just clear that whole division out early.
Yeah. We go all in, and Buffalo will be the last one, which is they're
ideally though. I mean, I agree with you. Because these games, I mean, they're still going to matter for tiebreakers because they are AFC games. They're not division games, but they are AFC games.
Yes.
If you were gonna like draft up like what games you want early that don't matter, it would be all the NFC games, right? Because you get all the out of conference while you're kind of figuring out who you are early in that season. But no, yeah, I mean, like there's no division games, no kind of way for them to trip up in division early on in the year.
Yes, and then from there in the next quarter, that's when we get the first.
There it is, Sonny. It's
Bengals,
on, Sonny.
Sunday night. It's gonna be a good one.
Bengals,
early.
Ravens, Sunday night football.
Y'all better be healthy.
Flex.
Y'all better be healthy. I don't want to hear we were hurt or any of this. It's early in the season. It's week 5. Let's go.
Wait, is that at the bank?
At the bank, yeah. At the bank.
Don't get embarrassed at the crib.
Yeah,
do not get embarrassed at the crib. On national TV.
The house that Burrow built, we coming back. He's coming home.
So and then between the AFC North game, we get sandwiched this team that whatever.
Yep.
The New York Football Giants. It's on the road, but yeah.
Nice little layup, layup one there.
And then we get the Browns and then Tampa after the Browns and Tampa.
And that's a Thursday game, right? I see that if I'm a Ravens fan here,
on the road too.
Yeah, having to go from the Cleveland game, and who knows if Watson's going to play in that or not, right? But it's week 7, so let's assume probably that you're going to be playing up against you're going to be playing Watson. You're going to play 2 out of your 3 games are going to be division games against Burrow and Watson, and then you got to go on Thursday to Tampa.
That's probably
to play Brady. That's not a favorable look there.
You might have to play Drew Brees.
That's a tough stretch.
Yeah, that's right. Drew Brees coming back. I love that.
Now we do get a minute. This is kind of weird, right? Like from there to a Monday night, so we have extra time against the Saints. It is on the road, so it's back-to-back road games, and then we get our bye after Monday night, which I appreciate. So no short week after that Monday night, and then the next 4, Carolina at home, and then we go Jacksonville. So this is probably the easy-ish part of the schedule with that bye in the middle. Saints, not that it's easy to win in New Orleans, but I mean they are a good team.
I just don't like with the Saints thing. Like they're not gonna have Sean Payton. Like I get that they're a good team and all of that, but Sean Payton is a hell of a coach. Like to not have him, it's kind of crazy.
For sure. And then we get Carolina, Jacksonville, and then we see this new Broncos team.
What do you guys think Denver's over/under is on win totals this year?
I think they're probably overhyped. I think they're like 11.
I don't know. Like Denver is a tough team to pick because they have a brand new coaching staff. You got Russell Wilson, who if you're looking at the last couple of games or the last season and a half, he's kind of on a downslide.
Yeah,
I'd probably say 8.5.
That's where I was. I thought 8.5 or 9.
I think Vegas has it at 10.5.
It's 10.5.
10.5.
10.5.
Yeah, okay. Are you
going
right?
low?
Yeah.
In that division, mind you.
I know.
I mean, the worst team in that division might be the Raiders, and they have Devontae Adams.
What do you think the Raiders over/under is?
Like 8.
11 or something? Don't tell me it's something crazy.
8.5. 8.5.
They don't look close.
So they don't have, well, I guess 8.5 would be 8.5, 8.5. But they essentially don't have anyone having a lower than 500 record.
But there's that whole Josh McDaniels variable that goes with that. Because either Josh McDaniels gets that second job and he's like great and he fixed all of his problems, or he's Josh McDaniels again, which is, I would probably feel comfortable with that under, right?
Well, Josh McDaniels made it to the playoff. I think he beat a team in the playoff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, was he? Was that Tim Tebow?
No. Sorry. No, actually,
that wasn't him.
That was not him. He drafted Tebow and then got fired because he couldn't make it work.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you draft Tim Tebow to play quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
So, by the way,
sorry, I'll give you a half point for that one. I'll give you a half point on that one.
Almost got the troll.
He put the most important domino in place because Steeler fans wouldn't remember that loss.
Yeah,
it wasn't because a dude who threw the football like a shot put shot was out there throwing it. You know what I mean?
Oh, good memories, good times.
So after the Broncos game, then we go at the Steelers.
And we play each other twice in 4 weeks, which I don't love.
Why do
that.
They keep doing that to the Ravens?
I don't know.
They had that last
it's not
year
twice in 3, so it's not as bad. But
it's weird.
Yeah,
it is weird.
So we get this part of the schedule. You get Steelers, we get Browns, and it's both on the road. Last year we had something similar, 2 rows of Steelers and Browns. So road, then Falcons at home. That should be just the layup as A said, and then Steelers again.
Slight derail here. Why does it? What is the deal with midseason TBD games? Did they explain this at all? I didn't watch a schedule release show, but that Browns game has no time.
Oh wait, is that in December? Is that
It's the week before Christmas. It's the week before Christmas.
Well, that's weird because usually it's the week of Christmas that they have it be TBD.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to see if the Browns. With the Browns, we get a lot of TBD because like people are like they could be good, but they're the Browns. So like we just don't know if we're gonna get a national TV game that week. I don't know. It might be some new stuff that they're doing.
So I think it's because there's a page that I found that it says Saturday/Sunday. So I guess they have it as potential flex to Saturday.
Oh, they're
there's like Saturday
in a flex
games
window.
in there.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, that's after the college football season ends, right?
Yep.
Is it?
Yep. It's as a college.
That's like during bowl season. Bowl season starts up that week.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not the good bowls. It's like the Carnegie.
Yeah, the Bahamas Bowl. You don't like
Carnegie
the
Carmichael Bowl. Well, let's take the 4th place ACC team versus the 3rd place MAC team and see who wins this one. And it's like Joe Tessitore or somebody.
Hey, Tony knows all those bowls because of betting. So
that's Tony's time. You know what I mean? That's Tony's time. You know what I mean? Tony's time is firmly in those first 4 weeks of the college football season because he's riding for one of those upsets. You know what I mean? Like he has money going on Wyoming beating Boise or something like that. You know what I mean?
If you want to derail on betting college, you actually should not bet. The bowl games are really where you don't get a lot of value because unless you have inside info, unless you like follow some of the teams closely and know certain players aren't going to play before the line reflects it. Otherwise, like you're playing this kind of game of do I think that their star player is actually going to play in the bowl game, and then how is this new kid going to look? Yeah, it's bet the regular season, skip the bowl season.
Isn't it usually like those high like spreads that they have, like when like somebody like Ohio State is playing, I don't know, like FAMU or something like that. Like usually people to bet like those early games, right? Where the top programs pay the lower tier schools just because they know it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
Hey, so remember it was a couple of years ago before I knew you went to FAMU. I was talking about how badly Ohio State tore up FAMU. Guess what? I get the experience, and I know I'm gonna be there in person because I can't help myself. My alma mater, the Penguins, going up to Ohio State because somebody else opted out of that ass whooping that week. You know what I mean? But the Penguins said, "Oh, we'll get beat by 40 for that $1 million." You know, the last time
just make
the
sure the
Youngstown
check
State
clears.
Penguins, the last time Youngstown State legitimately played Ohio State, they bought a indoor facility with their money that they got from
Nice.
that game.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay, so here finishing, I think the Ravens.
They did that to Jim Tressel too, which is even more hilarious.
The Ravens finish hard, right? So we go Steelers, Browns, Atlanta's the sandwich, but then Steelers, Bengals, right? So we go in division, basically
For the last five in the division.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, that's where you want to be.
Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, you know, your
you're
fate
healthy.
in the division will be sealed in those 5 games right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, last year, Lamar didn't play those last 5 games, but we did go 0-5, finishing the division. So,
but you guys were
from
still in
first
it
to
though.
worst.
Like you guys were still in the
we were
race.
in it all the way to the end. So, guys,
They were in first place.
we were in first place
And then
just
they ended
before
where?
Lamar went injured. Yeah, I think we were tied.
What game does anybody remember? The game that started the downward.
Wasn't against the Browns?
I believe it wasn't a 4 interception game, but I believe JOK hit Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Legally, by the way,
Yeah.
it wasn't a penalty on that play.
Yeah.
It got him, and then that was it, right? That was it. Really.
No. There was a game. There was a game played the week prior to that. That started the losing streak.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. The Pittsburgh Steelers did.
know
Yeah,
if
then they
anybody
played the
remembers,
Browns again. Yeah,
certain
no 4
2-point
no 4 interceptions was like the groundhog seeing his shadow for Baltimore that year, right? Lamar threw the 4 interceptions, and then he wasn't the same again after that, and then it just went down after that.
Okay. Saying that, one thing.
Okay.
One thing I did, because we discussed this previous, but I didn't say it before the stream. We're not predicting the record line by line. We will do that when the rosters are more set. But all we're gonna say is right now, early, way too early. Ravens are 9.5. I'm gonna start with Ace. Do you think you take the over or the under?
I think, just based off of the Ravens, Lamar Jackson in a contract season, them wanting to bounce back, them winning, I believe, 9 games last year in a season where their roster was decimated. I got to take the over.
Yeah.
Tony?
Yeah, I mean, my heart tells me, like, take the over here. This is an obvious over. Revenge season for Lamar. He's coming in, essentially, who knows if it's – I mean, imagine if it's a contract year for Lamar. I mean, my goodness. Yeah, but, there's part of my part of me that said that keeps this lingering like this. The longer this Lamar thing goes, and the more I start to think about the idea that this team probably is going to want to run the ball more. They're going to want to get back to that. They got all these tight ends now. They're going to run the 12. They're gonna go run. And does Lamar want to be in that offense?
13.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. And does Lamar want to be in that offense? And is this kind of a hey, I want to be a guy who's thought of like the top quarterbacks in this league, not because of my running ability, but because I am a true quarterback. And I'm still going to go over. Look, at this point, I can't take the under yet. I think 9.5 is, I could see the team winning 12 games this year easily. So 9.5 for me is actually a little low. Yeah, I'll take the over.
Cute.
It's at 9.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel real good about them winning like 9 games, but I also think maybe 10. Like, I don't think they go much higher than that. Like, I think they either win 10 games, and that's the most likely scenario. Like, I would say 60% chance that they win 10 games, right? That's probably the most likely. That's what I believe will happen. There's a 40% chance that this season just goes off the rails for the Ravens for one reason or the other, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of that potential here where like the energy could get weird, and then like the team chemistry can get weird, but they're too good for me to be like, nah, they're gonna go and implode. And they're the Ravens, right? So I would say I would take the over, but I just don't feel great about it. Right?
I'm right there.
I would take it logically, but there's something in my gut that tells me there's something wrong. Now again, my gut has also told me this is the year Pittsburgh dies, and then they won 11 games in a row. So my gut's hit or miss, right? Sometimes it's JOK and Perrion to the Browns. Sometimes, Steelers ain't gonna do nothing, and then so there is that.
So for me, I'll take the over. Health obviously is important, But if this team is quasi-healthy, right, basically all teams go through injuries, but they don't get the injury bug that they got last year. I think they win between 10 and 12. And we'll talk about that when we do our predictions. But yeah. So let's go.
One thing before we get off the Ravens, I wanted to point out, and this is going to be unique to this too. I think a lot of the teams in the division, the Steelers certainly. I don't believe that the Ravens, do they leave the Eastern time zone, or they leave it once to go to New Orleans, right? New Orleans is in Central time zone, but otherwise they don't leave the Eastern time zone? Because the Steelers do not. I know that for a fact.
No, the Steelers are the only team that doesn't. I think
is it the Steelers the only ones? But I think the only one that Baltimore really has to travel to is New Orleans. That's far, right?
No,
the Bengals are the only one that got an international game, right?
We don't have an international game.
No international. What about nobody has an international game this year?
I don't think any of us.
How do they determine this? Is it just random? How they select the?
It is kind of
you have
random.
to be a bad team in order to go international.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I think you have to be a bad team too.
That damn AFC South.
Dude,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
right. You're right. The Ravens.
I don't know. Jaguars should just move over there. They seem like they always put the Jags over there.
Well, they own Fulham, right? They just got back into the Premier League, right?
That's right.
That is true, right?
Yep. But yeah, so speaking about travel, I think, and we'll talk about this when we get to
New Orleans is the longest travel the Ravens have.
Yeah, so this is from a travel perspective, the AFC North, just the way that it played out, where we're going to play the NFC South and we're going to play the AFC East, right? These are all teams that are right within our kind of our range. So from a travel perspective, this is a light year for the AFC North.
Yeah, because and then the other thing is we happen to get Denver at home in our case, right? Because that's our matchup. And who's the other matchup? Oh, the New York Giants. So we also cross the NFC East. That's the extra game for Week 17.
That's not too far for Baltimore to go, though. New York.
No. Okay, we have some super chats before we pay some bills.
They really should be in the East, but we should have probably the Colts in our division.
Yeah, but it's rivalry at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Colts would because they used to be Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, the Colts.
We kind of do have the Colts in our division.
Yeah. And the Browns at the same time, two of them. Right. You know what I mean? That's right. The Baltimore don't do nothing but steal other people's teams, and I'm tired.
We got stolen the team, and then
we got stolen first. Yeah.
So you stole your girl got stolen. So you stole somebody else's girl. That don't make no sense. See, that energy got to come back around. We got to move the Ravens to Pensacola, Florida. Let's do it.
So here Thomas Morgan says, "Give your cat some treats and settle down." Q.
Raven fan.
Browns special teams will be like Packers. Then Q will want special teams.
I'm not about to rant about no special teams. I'm only going to rant about the people who love to talk about special teams.
All I saw there was a bait, but
that was bait, and good job.
Did the Bills just dissolve as a franchise? What are they talking about, Ace? Just because the Dolphins got Hill and the Jets got
sauce? The Jets got sauce.
Yeah.
And they got sauce.
And they got Thibodeau.
Receiver from USC.
Hey, look.
The Jets fans are very confident right now. I'm just saying, if you're on Twitter and you see a Jet Spaces, just jump in and listen. Turn those ears on, and you will be pleasantly surprised.
I try a couple spaces, and there's some absurdity there, and I'm like, okay, I have better things to do.
It's a lot of.
You sent me a link to what, and it was a Jets fan trying to fight somebody because
another Jets fan. Yeah, he was fighting another Jets fan.
That was disrespectful. We could throw the hands, bro. And I was like, yo, I need to get out of here, man. Look, all I'm gonna say about the Jets.
The Jersey Shore episode, real quick.
All I'm gonna say about the Jets is, when you get cooked, you gotta have sauce.
But the funny part about that Q is it was two Jets fans arguing back and forth with each other. It was insane.
That's why
I was like, I invited Q in here at the wrong time.
I'm like, what is this nonsense that we have going on here? All this bigotry, and then it was just bad. It was just bad.
But remember, guys, if we get to that 8,500, we'll host one. We'll host one.
Spaces. So hit that subscribe.
We're
getting that like button.
We're gonna get there quicker than you guys realize.
Look, Kicker Twitter. Look, I pull my punches on this show because we got to keep the brand alive. This is a monetized show. We got advertisers to the light. But on Spaces, that's for free. So if you come up there with this kicker nonsense on Twitter Spaces, it is not going to be
PG-13.
No. It's you gonna get eviscerated because again, my problem isn't with special teamers. It's not with punters. It's not with kickers. It's with y'all. Y'all, you know who you are. You know what I mean? It's y'all. All right.
Oh man, I know it's about the NBA, but apparently Stephen A. Smith tried to talk ish on Twitter about the Suns and Devin Booker and tagged the wrong Devin Booker, who is a player.
Boy, it's a bad day to be Devin Booker. Any of them. You know what I mean? That boy was awful. Can we talk about that for 5 minutes? Can this be a slight derail about how the Suns folded in historic fashion last night?
That game was over in the first quarter.
That was the most entertaining ass whooping I've seen since the Browns did that thing to Pittsburgh. Like, it was there. It was up there. It was an all-timer. Like, they were up by 40. I'm like, can they get to 50? Like, I'm trying to see these.
Luka Brasi.
I was seeing these Spencer Dinwiddie minutes and just amazed. Like, did you know that Luka Doncic had more points than all of the Suns' big three in the first half? In the first half.
In the first half,
you can combine them all.
He had like the same amount as their team, right? He had like 27.
It was Luka 27, Suns 27. And the most disrespectful thing, he was talking shit the whole time, which is wild. You go like Kobe, go watch the videos where Kobe put up 81. Silent. Wasn't saying nothing, had to stay in the zone. Would it risk a moment of him getting taken out of his game by talking that mess? Luka was out here like, dog, it don't matter. I'm cooking y'all. Y'all can't do nothing about it. It's just me out here. Like, and then Jalen Brunson came in, was like, nah, we get these licks in too. And then Spencer Dinwiddie. And then they had Boban coming out for the fire at the end. Like, if you're a Suns fan, this is a free excuse to quit your team, right? This is when the Atlanta Falcons lost 27-3, lost that 27-3 lead in the Super Bowl. I have no judgment over any Phoenix Sun fan that decides this is the time to quit my sorry ass team because they ain't never gonna bring me no happiness at any time. If you're a Suns fan, you have a free pass. Get off of that because they won 65 games, got to a game 7, and Chris Paul had 1 point in 3 quarters, and he wasn't hurt. Yeah. Devin Booker out there putting up Anthony Bennett numbers, dog. Like, they will never bring you joy. No, the Phoenix Suns will never bring you joy. Losing that lead to Giannis last year is the closest thing they will ever bring you to happiness. And I need you to ask yourself this question, Suns fans: is it worth it? Has it ever been worth it? Has it ever been worth it? Or at what point do the what ifs get to be too much? Right? Like, at what point?
Something in the air in Arizona, man. That's all I'm gonna say. It's something in the air in Arizona. Something
cheer for the Lakers, dog. Like, dude, just do something else. They ain't never gonna make you happy. Like that, nah, man. And then you gotta turn around a football season and you thinking about blown leads and choking. Who's the football coach? Cliff goddamn Kingsbury. It's time. It's time, Arizona sports fan. Just go. You know what I mean? Just this is a free pass to leave because you have to watch your Cardinals choke in the playoffs in the most embarrassing fashion. And then you turned around, got hype about the Suns all damn summer just for that. You have a free pass if you're an Arizona Cardinal / Phoenix Sun fan to quit on them teams. I ain't gonna judge you. You have 30 days to accept that application.
That's Quincy's olive branch to y'all. Yep. New Mexico's Ray says, I want to go a Steelers game this year, but I'm not sure which one.
Not sure which one yet. The tickets are so expensive.
Yeah, you gotta wait.
The Steelers games are expensive.
Yeah, you gotta wait. Here's what
schedule.
It's the Kenny Pickett factor, bro. It's the Kenny Pickett factor.
If you want to go, but real talk for a second. If you want to go to a Steeler game, I do this every time I go to a game. Do not buy tickets before because obviously the Steelers are a big franchise. They get a lot of resellers. Just wait till like 2 days before the game. The tickets will still be available pretty much any game. I've gone to playoff games. So I've bought a plane ticket to Pittsburgh, been in Pittsburgh without a ticket to the game, and then waited till the night before. Those ticket prices drop at the last second because it's all resellers in Pittsburgh.
What time? When do you buy them though, Tony? Are we talking like an hour before the game? Like
usually the night before.
The closest.
The night before the game I'll usually wait about
Tony
48 hours. Anywhere between 24 to 48 hours before the game. Whenever I feel like the deal is good, I like to sit in the upper bowl, like the first 5 to 10 rows. And those tickets, if you're paying, like never pay like $300. They're always going to be $300 now. They're going to be $400 now. Do not pay that. They will get far closer to $200 and sometimes even less than $200. If you're going with an even number, if you're going with 2 people or 4 people, you'll get them. If you're going to go with 3 people, obviously just getting 3 tickets is tough because it's an odd number. But yeah, that is my strategy always when I go to a Steeler game in Heinz.
Royce,
and also right now is literally the worst time, right?
Yeah.
Like once the season starts, people start giving up on trying to scalp them tickets. But right after the schedule announced, unless you get them at retail, you're gonna be. And honestly, getting NFL tickets at retail, it's kind of a ripoff. People go panic, right? Because you don't know what team's going to be sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to go to this Browns game against the Falcons. I'm confident by week 3 they'll give up hope by that point, right? So, you know, we'll give them tickets on a discount.
Yeah, I mean,
is Desmond Ridder going to start or no?
I'm hoping on it. Well, I'm hoping that they start him early so that, you know, all the buzz about, we going to get the young guy in. And people are like, I hope it's Marcus Mariota, to be honest, right? Because that means ticket prices going to be low. Ain't nobody trying to see that.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, every fan base, I mean, we just talked about the Jets, right? The Jets going nuts at their fan base, convincing themselves that, you know, them only winning 8 games is you know, blasphemy, right? And that's the same for every fan base in the country. So every fan base feels like their team is Super Bowl bound this year. So that's why, yes, do not buy tickets now. Wait,
except for Jacksonville and the Lions, right? They're pretty.
Are you sure?
Be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, are you sure?
Look, here's what makes it worse too. The Bengals just went from first to first. So everybody on that, we could be the next Bengals. Why not
everybody
us?
Is.
Right.
The Dolphins, the Jets, everybody.
Yeah, everybody like, well, the Bengals did it. Why can't we? Because the Bengals have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and you don't. Like, you have nothing.
And I hate how people make it seem like that process was like 1 year. I'm like, bro, this was a 3-year process. It started in 2019 with the new coach. We had to get through all of that, go through the ugliness. Like, it didn't just happen in 1 season.
And Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson ain't the same thing. You know what I mean? It ain't the same thing. Like, Garrett Wilson's nice. Zach Wilson is Zach Wilson, but that ain't Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Like, what the Bengals did is rare. I think we see anomalies in the NFL, and we think that that's going to be the new rule. And, you know, it's great for ticket sales. But I'm telling you, the Bengals did a bad thing for the rest of the league out here going from worst to first in the manner in which they did. Like, it was bad for the league, and now these fans going to be out of pocket all summer. Thank you, Bengals.
Finally caught y'all live. Stay away from some Raven spaceman. I can't defend them guys. They drive me nuts.
Yeah, man. Apparently, wide receiver just doesn't matter anymore at all.
No, because they got Rashad
wide receiver by committee.
All pro. Oh yeah.
I have a newfound respect for Hollywood Brown after those spaces. I'll just say that.
Nova Stone here says Jets should play the Elite Dragon Joe Flacco versus the Ravens.
Revenge on the team?
Dragon Joe.
No, Joe Flacco's retired now.
Joe Flacco's on the Jets. He's on the Jets.
No. I know he was obviously.
No.
He's still on the Jets.
No, I think they re-signed that.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco is an American quarterback of the New York Jets. He is still on the team. He's still in the league.
Yep.
Joe Flacco revenge game. Watch out, Sonny. Week 1.
Okay.
A 37-year-old Joe Flacco. Boy.
Okay. All right.
Cute.
He should play in that game. Yeah, I agree. I actually agree.
You think Landry?
Nothing will take your hopes down like being like, you know who we gonna start this week? Joseph Flacco at age 37. That's when you go, okay, it's a 4-win year.
Pretty sure Joe's gonna sabotage Zach Wilson that game so he can get in. Get him to throw like 2 or 3 interceptions so he can get in.
Okay, Q, do you think Landry deal with the Saints shows he's dealing with the Browns front office? I'd have to believe they offer him more than 3/6.
They offered him the minimum. They never wanted him back. That is a 1-year deal for the minimum. The Browns never wanted him back. They wanted to seem like they wanted him back. But, you know, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, you know, we should see other people. You know what I mean? Like that's what that is. Like, they didn't want him back, and it was kind of obvious that they didn't. Because why would they release him if they really wanted him?
Jamil Johnson here says reports just came out that Bates refuses to play on tag, and will refuse to report to OTAs and camp.
Are we gonna?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that this had a possibility of happening. I mean, Dax Hill, his replacement is there. So, I mean, we'll have to see how it goes, but I don't think that it's going to pressure the Bengals into making a move. But this is one of the reasons that you also took Dax Hill. If you do have to move Jesse Bates or something like that, you're probably going to get a premium pick for it. But yeah, he can hold out because we got Dax Hill. That's literally the reason why we drafted him.
Who do you trade Jesse Bates to, though, if you're the Bengals? Because the only team that will want him is a win-now team, but because he has a one-year deal left, right?
I'd probably say the Eagles. I was snooping around on social media. I saw him liking some Eagles stuff. So apparently the Eagles don't have a safety. It would probably be somebody like the Eagles if he were to get dealt.
Okay, that makes sense.
Wow.
I don't think you would trade him in conference.
If he does hold out, I know this is very personal to me, but if he holds out and I have to read some dumb think piece from some idiot writer who's like, this just proves that Le'Veon Bell really did win his whole holdouts. It's just like, I can't deal.
No, wait. We want to talk about Pittsburgh beat writers. Let's talk about the genius who was like, hey, man, let me put it out there. Kenny Pickett looked poised in rookie minicamp. Like,
yeah. Well, listen, you got to write something these days. I mean, listen.
Well, I mean, like that was what was concerning, because I have been where you like got hopes on a quarterback and that's all that comes out there rookie minicamp. And what that actually means is, well, the arm strength didn't blow me away. He wasn't really fast. He wasn't super big. He looked calm.
Kaboli's usually pretty good about writing. I'm like, hey, listen, this guy in camp did, like, he's usually the one guy I follow when it comes to camp reports, because he does tell it like it is when it comes to players. He doesn't do the fluff stuff. But yeah, that in particular, like he was real poised in his interviews thing, is like, what are we doing? Like,
let's wait until training camp. Let's wait until training camp. Rookie minicamp, I'm just
I will be at training camp this year in Pittsburgh every single day, so I'm pretty hyped about that.
Whoa, you're gonna be a Latrobe Hall of Famer this year, man.
It's the perks of the new remote work lifestyle.
Of the remote work, nice.
You can work from anywhere, so I will work from training camp.
The mask.
I might have to join you for a day out there.
Let's go.
The mask put in on rookie and was
badge grinding in their 2K careers. Their 2K my careers. Okay.
The Mavs changed the sliders, dog. Like, that didn't make no sense. Maxi Kleba was cooking them at some point. Like, I saw Maxi Kleba get a chase down block. I was like, this is over.
Yeah,
this is over. When Luka shook that man out of his shoes, jumped back and made a three, and you was already down 20, nobody want to fight after that, right? That's it. That's kill shot. Morale.
Yeah, unfortunately, my guy that's what Cam Johnson. He's a Bengals fan, but the funniest thing that I saw, and sorry, Cam, if you're watching AFC North talk, but they did the one where he like fell and they had it slide all the way with him all the way into Cancun on like a beach chair. I was like, dog, that was so savage.
I mean, that was massive.
No, that's the type of ass whooping that changes people's perspective about you forever. Nobody gonna look at them Suns. The whole narrative is gonna change. We went from Suns, they the next Spurs, to the Suns are frauds.
Yeah,
and will always be frauds. Okay, free pass to leave them.
Luka Doncic and the Mavs are having a Bengals run, and with that, Tony.
Okay, that's a good.
We got some breaking news here to AFC North Talk. You asked for it. They listened. Our friends at Manscaped just brought back the Ultra Smooth package. It's time to stop, drop, and order this premium shaving kit. Everyone knows by now that the Lawnmower 4.0 is the best electric shave for your balls. But if you're looking for a closer shave to go bare down there, then the Ultra Smooth package is the perfect set. It's time to shave that bush of yours and get right to the roots. With a discount just for you, get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word. The Ultra Smooth package is a specialized groin shaving kit to help you buff, protect, and smooth your most sensitive areas. I'm talking crop shaver razor, the crop exfoliator, and crop gel. Men, you no longer have to borrow your lady's razor for that precise trim. The Manscaped Ultra Smooth package is a 3-step kit to make your package the perfect package: exfoliate, gel, and shave. But first, you want to grab your handy Lawnmower 4.0 to give your boys the classic trim to your liking, to get those loose hairs out of the way, and then take out the Manscaped Ultra Smooth package to get that closer shave. Step 1, use the crop exfoliator. It's infused with ingredients that can soothe, clear, and keep the skin on and around your groin feeling refreshed. The crop exfoliator can help reduce the risk of ingrown hairs in your delicate places. Step 2, use the crop gel. See where you're shaving with our unique clear shaving gel just for the groin with 4 essential oils. It's like a spa treatment every time you shave. And then step 3, it's time to shave with the crop shaver. It was designed for shaving the groin area with confidence. This razor has 3 precision blades, including extra wide lubricating strips and a pivoting head for the ultimate groin grooming experience. The crop shaver is not your average razor. It's smaller, thicker, with a micro comb bar that allows for the best shave possible from any angle. Beach balls are meant to be smooth, and now yours can be. So it's time to get up close and personal with the best tools for the job and the ultra smooth package from Manscaped. And get all this I talked about today for 20% off and free shipping. But you have to use our promo code AFC North Talk. AFC North Talk, all one word, at manscaped.com.
And thank you. Every time you guys use our promo code, helps us with them to renew our contract. They have been great to us. So we
Love
appreciate
Manscaped.
it.
Love
And
Manscaped.
their products.
Hey, God, by the way, we're going to do a promo for an ad read coming up later this month, but they sent me the copy for later this month. I am extremely excited for what they're announcing later this month. So we will talk to you guys about that here in a couple of weeks.
Ooh,
what we need in the AFC North? More players that's last names are better ball puns. You know what I mean? Like, we need Taki to become a good player. That's what this podcast needs.
Okay, so we are in the Browns. And look who's here in week 2. So the Jets get Ravens and then they get the Browns.
That's why they got to be so confident, because they're staring down the barrel.
We're going to surprise you early, guys. We're going to surprise you early.
Well, no. They're getting all this hope out right now because by the end of this month, they go no hope for the Jets. They're gonna get.
They talking about 3-1. I said, do you mean Zach Wilson's gonna throw 3 interceptions and 1 pick six, or like what? How is that happening in this division? I don't get it.
All I'm saying is that the Jets lose to Jacoby Brissett, I don't want to hear about their playoff hopes at all. At all. Okay.
First quarter, you get Panther, you visit at Carolina, then you host the Jets, then you host the Steelers, and then you go to the Falcons. What do you think about the first quarter?
I mean, look, there are some things that line up for you favorably. Now, I always am hesitant about that first game because the Browns have not won an opener since 2004. Something funky always happens in that opener. We played the Titans in 2019 when Marcus Mariota was still the quarterback, and they beat our booty. Like, it just something happens in that opener every year. I'll believe they'll win it when they win it. The Jets, now, week 2 ain't been that much of a problem. They'll beat the Jets. Thursday night at home versus Pittsburgh. That's a favorable matchup for you just because of the logistics of it. Those early Thursday night games at home tend to favor the home team. And then you play the Falcons. And I have no doubt that the Falcons will take a lead in this game. I just don't think they're going to hold it. You know what I mean? I just don't think they're going to hold it. And that is exactly why I wish to be at that game in person, because I want to see them get confident. Just to get old comeback Jacoby to come back in that game. Look, my Jacoby Brissett versus the Raiders last year when he came back on them with a vengeance. Jacoby Brissett good for one every year. I'm just saying.
Then you get the Chargers at home, which the Chargers haven't been great traveling. By the way, let me pause here for a moment and shout out to the Chargers schedule release. It was epic. They took shots at everybody. I thought it was just well done. I don't know if y'all saw it.
They got off some clean shots. I would say that. Like, they got off a clean one.
The Falcons one. You saw the Falcons one?
Which one was that? What did
it say? They had actually like a little falcon flying, and it crashes on a Waffle House logo. And then the logo underneath said 28% off when you buy 3 pancakes or more, or something like that. Yeah. So there were some good shots all around. Yeah, the Browns one, it was a good shot. They were.
Look, the Chargers are the funnest team that won't make the playoffs.
That is true.
It might be the greatest non-playoff team of all time this year. Yeah,
you saw that thing. It was like, how was Phillip Rivers this much better than Eli Manning? It's still Eli Manning has won 2 Super Bowls, and like Phillip Rivers has barely been to an AFC Championship game. Yeah, it's the Chargers.
It's the Chargers.
Yeah. All right, but like in all seriousness, right? Those 4 weeks where the Browns start off the season, those are the 4 weeks of winnable games, no matter who's the quarterback. You get into this stretch though, week 5, week 6, week 7. All right, week 8. You know what I mean? Before that bye week. All right, if you don't get those wins early and you don't have Watson back, it's gonna get a little tight. It's gonna get a little tight. You want to come out those first 4 weeks 3-1. Because you could end this out being, 3-4, or at least 4-3, right? It could be uneven at that point. So you got those games early, but you go into New England, that could be a winnable game. But New England beat the tar off the Browns last year. Baltimore's always tough. Cincinnati, maybe that could be the game that we get Baker Mayfield traded for, right? Just bring him back for one last Cincinnati game like he's Elvis, right? And say, hey, one more run, big fella, on Monday Night Football, and then trade him beforehand. But I doubt that. So that's going to be real tough. So this is a tough stretch, right? It's going to be hard to beat the Chargers if you don't have your star quarterback in there. It's going to be hard to beat all of these teams without a legitimate star level quarterback. So this is the area in which the Brown season could see some trouble. And if they don't win early on, that suspension is 6 games, they could be in trouble come week 7.
Yeah, that was the first thing that stood out to me too, was that the first 4 are winnable, but then from that point it kind of starts the gauntlet of this, like the real gauntlet of the season that is the Browns schedule. And it does make you wonder, looking at the first 4 games of the schedule. Did Roger like just tell the scheduling people like, hey, BT Dubs, don't give the Browns any big games in the first 4 because
look, whatever
they're not
it's going to be
watching.
Look, there's going to be. I told people this. I was like, look, Deshaun Watson this year is going to be a magnet for conspiracy theories. Could you imagine if there's a bad call in like the AFC Championship game and the Browns lose because of it? They was just trying to keep Deshaun out the Super Bowl because they didn't want to deal with the bad PR. Like, no matter how this season goes, there's going to be at least 5 Deshaun Watson conspiracy theories that are going to go from anywhere from the league is trying to help Deshaun Watson to the league is trying to destroy Deshaun Watson. It is going to be one of those years. So I'm just turning off conspiracy theory to it. If I see you post a conspiracy theory and you got a Browns account, I'm just muting.
You're unfollowing me, dude? Come on, man.
Oh, no. You're a Steeler conspiracy theory. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, it's going to be a wild year for conspiracy theories, which means it's going to be a good year for Tony, because Tony loves his third.
Oh, all about it. Tinfoil hat time. Let's go.
Okay, so after the bye, then you get the other Super Bowl champion of the offseason, Miami Dolphins. But you go road, right? Road Miami, road Buffalo, and then at home Tampa, and then the Houston game.
No, this stretch here basically until the last 2 weeks of the season, incredibly tough, right? You play whatever Miami's going to be throwing out there. Quarterback, they still got good pieces there. They could beat you. That's not going to be an easy game. Then you play Josh Allen and Tom Brady back to back. You play Houston, but who knows what that Houston game is going to be? That's going to be a very emotional game, I'm assuming, right? Just because even if Watson does not play in that game, you're still the team that has him. So they're going to have some kind of pent-up emotion for you. And then, let's bring it home. You get a little bit of a fun day at Cincinnati. Now, look, I know Cincinnati is a very tough team. I know Cincinnati, in all likelihood, will be a very, 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 very strong opponent this year because they were a very great team last year. In the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm not going to lie. Y'all have accomplished a gigantic amount last year. None of it against Cleveland and not in Cincinnati. But, it is what it is, right? So you play the Houston Texans, you play the Bengals at Cincinnati. Who knows what that's going to be like? I'm assuming that's going to be a very hard game, but until that game comes, if Bengal fans ask me how I feel about it, I'm going to troll y'all. That's a vacation. So week 15 against the Baltimore Ravens. Whew, the Ravens are always tough. They know Bengals, so I just got to let me stop playing with them before they can start yelling me again.
They're no Bengals. I like that.
Yeah, they're no Bengals. You know what I mean? Look, Baltimore put it to us now. Lamar Jackson has a much better record against the Browns than Joe Burrow. That's just an objective fact that we could go back on. But yeah, Baltimore is going to be a tough one. The Saints, I have no idea what that's going to be like, but that's at home on Christmas Eve. Then you get the Commanders. By that point in the year, who knows? And then you get the Steelers, and again, by that point of the year, who knows what the Steelers got going on. I would want to avoid the Steelers early in the year. Since we play the Steelers in Thursday night football at home, I feel much better about that because I do think the Steelers are going to be a much better team. And I know Tony's in disagreement with me about this. He thinks they're going to be stronger at the end of the year, right? But I think the Steelers probably a stronger team at the beginning of the year than they are at the end. And if you catch them week 18, who knows? Who knows? But this is look, every NFL schedule is tough. This is a tough schedule, and everybody in this division has a tough schedule. So, it's a big boys game, and you have to win some big boy games to get this division this year. What's up?
I was going to say the first thing that stood out to me about just looking over the schedule is coming out of the bye week. 4 of 5 games on the road coming out of the bye. And, look, while it's not necessarily like a gauntlet as far as the opponents, because you have Miami and Houston in there, and I don't think anyone considers them top teams in a stacked AFC. But man, when you have, you got your only home game in that 5-game stretch is against the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, that's a heck of a stretch coming out. Just because, and I know someone in chat's going to tell me like that home field advantage is disappearing in the National Football League. And fine, like home field advantage isn't what it once was, but like, there's still an advantage to playing at home. And so, that's a really brutal stretch coming out of the bye week, especially, if let's say Watson's suspended for 8 games, and so that's that stretch right there. The 4 of 5 on the road is the first time Watson's ever playing. Man, that's a tough stretch for the Browns.
Yeah. With the Watson suspension, I followed this rubric. 4 games, you're fine. 6 games, okay. You know what I mean? You got to tighten it up if it's 6. 8 games, we just seeing what we got for next year. You know what I mean? Like, if we make the playoffs, we're going to be dangerous, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. If he does, then, good on him, but it's going to be a rough one, right? So, I don't think he gets 8 games. I have no idea what the NFL is going to do here. I'm thinking they probably work this thing down to like 4 or 5 just to avoid the appeal. I think the NFL really just wants to get this headline out of here. They know they have to do something, so I think they'll get it out the way week 1, like right before when everybody's preparing. Hey, Watson suspended 5 games. It might be talked about a little, but everybody's gonna be focused on all this other stuff. Maybe they get Tom Brady to tweet something or something like that to get the attention off of him. And then they can always say, "Oh, we did something." I think that's the only reason for the NFL, right? I talked about this in a video. I think I literally just went live on my channel. But the only objective for the NFL with the Watson suspension, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm not making a moral argument here. I'm just saying for the NFL's perspective, this is about public relations, right? Yep. And the best thing for them for public relations is for this thing to go away. If you suspend him for 2 years and he spends next 2 years appealing that, it's not going to go away. If you don't suspend him and you announce that, that's dumb and that's not going to go away. But if you do give him 4 or 5 games, which is everybody's expecting that, then it's going to go away. People aren't going to care after a while, right? So, this is just what they're going to do. Now, there's a question of whether the league wants to try to preserve Deshaun Watson as somebody that could build and market the league around. I think that would be a tough one to do. But, maybe that's why they would be motivated not to suspend him. But other than that, I see on all likelihood, like they'll just suspend him probably 4 or 5 games and then move on, and they won't announce it till September. They'll know privately that this is probably going to happen, but they won't announce it till September. Because again, this is a public relations thing.
Yeah, I agree with Quincy on that one. I think for me, some of the research I was doing yesterday, I think a similar kind of discretion. They gave 6 games. I think I was talking with Tony earlier. I think he gets 6 possibly initially, and then he appeals and he gets reduced down to 4 or 5. I think like Quincy and Tony are saying, and I think it's a smart move for the league just because you have to do something like Quincy is saying. Like, you can't just let it go untouched, because then people will be making something about that, right? You don't want to have that happen. So I think that happens, and I think the way that the schedule falls, it works out for the Browns pretty nicely because you kind of start off with some easier opponents. So I think you can get by with Jacoby Brissett for a while. And I think as long as Jacoby Brissett, if it is a 6-game suspension, if he can get you like 50% of those wins, I think that you're still in a potential position to really compete and win the division and go to the playoffs this season if he hands the keys over to Deshaun after that. So I think that the Browns, even though we have to wait and see, I'm glad that we're at least getting some traction. I think they said that he's supposed to meet with them this week. So hopefully we'll get an answer soon, and it won't be some time where it's like week 7 So he met with them today. Perfect. So it's not like week 7 and it's just random and, you got to change your whole fantasy draft and all of that. So I think this is the best way for them to handle it. So
I would not put it past the NFL, though, to try to slide this in the middle of the year, right? Like, again.
No, it won't be the middle of the year. I think this is going to be like smack dab in the middle of preseason when they already know that this can be swept under, you know what I mean? Like they'll announce it and it'll be.
And that's what I wanted to know too, Quincy, is he going to play in the preseason? Like, are they going to allow him to play? Okay.
Yeah,
so
if I remember from the Josh Gordon thing, preseason has no implication on whether you could, like what your regular season situation is, has no implication on if you could play in the preseason. Josh Gordon was banned from the NFL for a year, still allowed to play in the preseason. So you can always play in the preseason. How much he plays, I don't know. Maybe they want to play him a lot. There's different schools of thoughts. The Browns don't really play their starters that much in the preseason anyway, so I don't expect them to be out there for a lot. But yeah, they'll probably slide this in. When it's like if Drew Brees comes back, they'll be like, "Hey, Drew Brees is back." Deshaun Watson suspended for 4 games. Like just slide that one under the radar real quick because again, their objective isn't to punish. Because that's just not what the league's function is or the league office's function is. It's the legal system's function. Their objective is, we got to make sure this doesn't look bad from a PR perspective, and suspending him and then sliding it under radar, probably the most effective PR strategy. Not making any moral declaration on that whole situation, just saying that's what that is.
Serious question, Tony. What do you think the Steelers would do if all 3 quarterbacks are awful in training camp?
Yeah.
Trade for Baker Mayfield. What? Huh?
No, I think that I think they'll go with one of the 3. No, but it is funny he brings it up because it's something I was thinking about earlier today in prepping for today's show. Because it is the weird thing about talking about both the Browns that we're talking about now, and then we'll talk about the Steelers here in a second, is trying to project these games out when we don't know who the quarterback is going to be for the Steelers. But not only do we not know who it's going to be, but we don't know why it's going to be that player, right? And I think what Ray Rags brings up here is a good point. Like, what happens if all 3 quarterbacks are just bad, right? Just straight up bad when it gets to camp, and the Steelers look at each other and go, "Yo, what are we doing here?" I mean, I think in this case he's talking about that you would start Kenny probably because it's like, well, what's the point of starting a Mitch Trubisky if I think if they're close, I think Mitch probably has to win the job. Kind of going away, right? If you're talking about like a champ in like boxing or in UFC, where they say don't let it go to the judges' scorecards, you got to knock them out. I think I think for Trubisky, it's going to be like that because the Steelers invested a 1st-round pick in Kenny. They clearly like the kid, and so in this situation, I would see them starting Kenny.
Do you like Kenny Pickett?
Do I? We've been over this. I do not love.
If you
Kenny
had
Pickett.
to pick between Kenny Pickett or Baker Mayfield, because you don't like either one of them, which one are you picking?
Wait! I got a better way to frame it. I got a better way to frame this. Who, if you had to pick a quarterback that you feel like could potentially, in the span of 2 years, could win more games in that span of 2 years, and you had to pick between Kenny Pickett and Baker Mayfield, who are you picking?
I would pick Kenny Pickett because again, and look, and maybe this is like unique to the Steelers because the Steelers have been through so many off the field things. We're going to talk about AB here in the next couple of super chats. Look, I want a harmonious locker room. No, first and foremost. And Baker Mayfield is not conducive to a harmonious locker room.
As long as you think he's the greatest quarterback on earth, he's pretty harmonious. You know what I mean? It's only if you question his greatness that he becomes disharmonious, or however you would say that.
Yeah.
Are a lot of vet free agents waiting until minicamp is over before they sign? I think vets, they're obviously going to try to get the most money they can. And at this point, probably looking for if somebody gets hurt, then the team's like, oh man, I need to fill this hole. Boom. They sign them with incentives. That's probably what it is. I mean,
I think some guys say that though when there's really not a market. They're like, "Yeah, man, I'm just waiting for an injury." Like, no, you're not. Your market just isn't good. No, people are looking at you like you're just old and over the hill. And until something like that happens, like Adrian Peterson, for example, is he on a roster right now? Like, is someone gonna go out and sign Adrian Peterson right now? Like, over a young 22-year-old, like undrafted college free agent, or somebody else with more potential?
But that's what AP said. Look, man, I'm gonna let that young man get that work for the first 5 weeks of the year, and then once they realize he's trash and they need somebody who can get 2 yards, I'm gonna be there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's a mutual thing. Don't nobody want you until they know they need somebody that they can trust they can do it. right?
Right.
By the way, y'all hear this story? I think Anime Tree had a super chat up that got missed, but it was like Baker going to Bahamas. Apparently, Deshaun Watson offered everybody a trip to the Bahamas on the offense to, hang out, play some football, and all that. And Baker Mayfield has been invited, but they're saying that he's probably not going to go.
Baker got invited? He did get invited?
He did. He did get invited.
I love it.
He invited the entire offense. By the way, that money must have hit the bank that day. If he's like, whole offense during the portion of the year where you can have 90 people on the roster, let's go to the Bahamas. Like, what Baker Mayfield had money for? Meet me in Texas on your own accord. This dude out here like, let's just go to the Bahamas. What in the world? That is just that. Honestly, I would feel flexed on at that point.
Yeah,
you gonna buy
taking
everybody
me to the Bahamas with the bag that was supposed to be mine?
Is it more disrespectful to invite him or not to invite him?
Yeah, I mean, you got to, right? If you say you're taking the whole offense, it's like when you invite that dude to your wedding, but you're really hoping that they don't come. You know what I mean? But you got to because they know all your other friends, and they're gonna find out that they wasn't invited. So you send them their invite like 3 days late, so it just don't come in time for them to make plans. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those situations where you just don't want homeboy to be there, but you got to do something, right? You got to say he can come, but can't come, right?
Even courtesy invited, I think you just go, listen, bro, come on. What we did,
like, hey, big man, you ain't on the team.
What we did,
you know what I mean? You get a check from the Browns, but you don't play for the Browns. You know what I mean? This is one of those situations.
Did y'all already talk about Watson taking in the front? This is what Q was talking
Literally
about.
Just did.
Yeah. This is what we just talked
Good
about.
timing.
Antonio Brown tweeted he wants to retire.
Oh, I love this one.
How would you feel about that? I think that should make it happen. And
where's that Tony meme at? I think this is
what about AB?
No.
The draft one? Yeah. I mean, honestly, if AB wants to retire a Steeler, like, cool. If he wants to sign a one-day contract and retire, I just don't know. Look, the way that and this is the problem with AB is that at some point, like, we talked about this when he had his like blow up last year, right? I mean, this becomes like, it is funny to joke about AB, but then like clearly something is just, not right with his situation. The way he left the team, I mean, he wanted nothing to do with this organization ever again. He made that very, very clear. Right. And then here we are, 3 years later? And, he spent like the last couple months defending Ben Roethlisberger, or the last couple months of the season, defending Ben Roethlisberger and talking about how Ben is his boy and everything. Ben's the best quarterback he played with. Meanwhile, on the way out, all he did was trash Ben and back up every analyst who on the way out.
LeBron James.
He's coming back, Tony. He's going to dye the mustache blonde again.
Yeah.
Leave the sides black.
I don't think
LeBron James's show on HBO immediately after this happened. It was like, Ben sucks.
Yeah.
He's trash. He's calling me out for meetings when he can't see the defensive lineman. That was wild. A wild series of
He did the same to Brady. I saw him trash about Brady, and then like 2 days later call him the GOAT. I'm like, dude, I can't keep up, bro.
No, and that's the thing. Like, look, if he wants to retire, like meaning that he wants to sign a one-day contract, and maybe the Rooney's would go for that because I think the Rooneys would kind of brush aside how it ended in Pittsburgh and say, look, he did have a great career in Pittsburgh, but the idea that he's going to play it down for Mike Tomlin ever again, I would seriously doubt Mike Tomlin.
What has a higher possibility? That Antonio Brown plays a down for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or that Baker Mayfield starts a game for the Cleveland Browns this year?
I think it's Baker. I don't think Tomlin doesn't play that at all.
What do you think about him mentoring those receivers for the Steelers?
He can mentor Chase Claypool. That's cool. That's fine.
I know the only thing that has lower odds than Antonio Brown playing a down for Pittsburgh this year is Lamar Jackson's chances of being a Raven in 2025.
Here we go. That was Sonia says gambling 1 year, Sector Soul 22 equals 5. Again, we don't know what is going to be the penalty.
Whatever the suspension is, somebody going to post something like that.
Yeah. That's
no. If his suspension is, what would his suspension have to be for there to be no outrage?
1 year.
It wouldn't even be that. There would be outrage on the other end. You know what I mean? Well, you didn't. You know what I mean? We've seen the arguments out there. There's gonna be somebody mad, no matter what the suspension is. If there's suspension, if there's not, right? They're gonna be calling equivalencies there, like in that situation, right? Is it a 1-to-1 situation? kind of, but kind of not, right? Because gambling is like one of those things where it could be next to fixing. And that's why you get a 1-year ban, and you can't really compare things like that. And then there's PED suspensions, right? That people are going to throw in there. Like, it is what it is. There is no happy scenario where everybody goes, oh, that was appropriate, and then people just move on. The best thing for the league, and again, why I address this from a PR standpoint is, best thing for them is people just not to talk about it, right? And how do you get people not to talk about it? You swipe that thing under the rug as fast as possible.
They should have started when Brady signed the $370 million. I remember
somebody said, I hope Q likes Crow because I made fun of Lamar Jackson not being a Raven. I know who don't like Crow. Might be Lamar Jackson.
I see what you did there. Well done.
Yeah, walked right into that one, didn't you?
Yeah. I remember RGT throwing a deep touchdown to Josh Gordon in the preseason, and I was happy thinking he was going to come back. Then he got banned from the NFL.
We were getting excited about Josh Gordon.
Can we please stop the Josh Gordon, like, from the Browns, like, in current day still exists? Like, this whole thing where people are like, oh, the Chiefs just signed Josh Gordon, dog. He's about to, like, this is not 2016 anymore. This is not 2013 Josh Gordon.
There was a time in which Browns fans were getting excited about an RG3 resurgence, a Josh Gordon resurgence, and Terrell Pryor at wide receiver. You talk about being down bad. Look, when I make fun of Jets fans for getting excited about bums, I'm telling this from experience. It don't ever work. How you think that's going to work out? I'm just telling you that Jets got a lot of, man, y'all don't know about Terrell Pryor energy yet. Like, it just is what it is. I'm telling y'all.
Okay, so I have a question. I guess we're gonna get answer this, but does the Jets play? Are four of us the first quarter?
I told you, bro. They said they're going 3-1.
We're in their
head. Going 3-1. They're going 3-1 against the North. That's what it is.
Who's the one? Oh, okay. They think they're going 3-1 against the North. They play the Browns, the Bengals, the Steelers, and then they get the Dolphins. When they play the Ravens.
No, that's week one.
They play the Ravens
week one. They play the gauntlet. That's why they're running the whole thing. Spaces talking about us.
Yeah.
It's about to be like when we played the NFC East that everybody got swept. The whole AFC North swept like the entire NFC East or something like that. I think the Ravens were the only one lost to like the Giants or something.
Maybe that's probably. Anyway, so they start. So this is the Steelers schedule. They start at Bengals, then Patriots, at Browns, and then Jets.
September's gonna be a good time.
The thing that's so the first four games, the thing that stood out to me with the first four games, and this is like Steelers, very Steelers specific, but the Steelers have not had an opener at home since 2014. Now you would think for a team like the Steelers, that they, the Rooneys could tell Goodell or whoever that's going to hit, like, what are we doing here? 8 years of no home games on the opener, like give us one. Maybe the Rooneys are cool. That it is very strange to me that they are this is gonna be the 8th season in a row. I was at you want to know the last time the Steelers had an opener at home? Antonio Brown drop kicked the punter in that game. That's the last time.
Hey, hold on, wait, stop it, Tony.
He did. I mean, that's what happened.
Why'd you have to bring that up? Antonio Brown could not retire still. I just remembered that memory. No, he did a front flip into the end zone. A back flip into the end zone. He shaked his booty.
That was a different game.
It was the same game. He did a front flip.
No, that was a different game. That game
against the Browns? I know it happened against the Browns.
It happened against the Browns. Yes, that's the game that Landry Jones started the game, and then you guys heard him on the first play of the game. And so Ben, who was injured but was suited up because he's the only backup they had to come in. Yeah, exactly. Ben was doing his diva thing. And then Ben comes in and lit up the Browns on that day. And yes, AB did do a front flip into the end zone on that day. But those are two separate games.
I hate Antonio Brown.
Anyway, okay, so yeah, back to the schedule. I don't know. I mean, look, the Bengals in week one. I've seen a lot of Bengals fans started chirping me about this, like, "Oh, you guys are screwed week one." Well, Bengals fans, you beat the Steelers by 45 next year. Okay, was there a week that they could put this game on the schedule where you'd say, "Oh, this is gonna be the Steelers gonna be a tough one this year"? Like, look, here's my thought on the opener going to Cincinnati. Look, do I love it? Do I love it? No, it's probably going to be 0-1. But we all said the same thing last year when they went to Buffalo. And now Buffalo was a unique situation because the Steelers, they had all that defensive turnover last year when it came to like losing 2 corners, losing Bud Dupree, losing Stephon Tuitt, right? When they lost so many players going into last year, and they were actually able to kind of sneak attack the Bills with that no blitzing game plan that they had. Josh Allen, had a rough one, and they ended up winning that game on a blocked punt. It was a weird game. I would argue that look, there's an argument to be made that the Steelers, with all the turnover they've had offensively this year, could come out with a game plan that the Bengals don't see coming and make this game more competitive than you might expect. But yeah, I mean, like, this is not, it's not a favorable opener. No, but it's the Bengals. The Bengals have the Steelers number right now. The only other thing that stood out to me about the first 4 is that game, the Thursday game. I hate Thursday games overall, and I especially hate division Thursday games. But that game is likely going to be Jacoby Brissett versus, Mitch Trubisky. So, like, I'm not going to cry over that game, being ruined by being a Thursday game. Because honestly, would that game be great if it were a Sunday game? Probably
the memes before that game will be. You want to see a preseason game on national TV?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. The next 4 are the Buffalo, Tampa, Miami, Philly. It's an interesting one because it's 3 out of 4 on the road, and it includes the AFC, the best team in the AFC right now by Vegas odds. Buffalo on the road, a revenge game for them, as I talked about, and then you have to play. A player that has been the arch nemesis of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tom Brady. This will likely be the last chance Steelers will ever have to play Tom Brady.
Allen Brady back to back. That's the same thing that the Browns had, right?
Yeah.
I have a question.
You don't think Tom Brady going to give you 5 more years?
Listen, he's got $37.5 million. 37.5 million reasons not to. Please, Tom, retire. My goodness.
You think about it, right? He's getting paid more money to get hit than he would if he just decided to retire right now on the spot. Yeah. That's wild to me. But you gotta love football. I love football. Let me tell you something. Somebody offered me double the money to do some announcing.
Dude, respect. No, who's really needs respect is what's the Rams coach? Sean McVay. Sean McVay, okay, is probably making what? He got a raise. He's probably making 12, 15 maybe. The dude could easily be making 30 in the booth.
Put him in the booth with Tom Brady.
Not spending all of that time, having more time with like his family and all kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Wait, so Tony, I have a question for you. Do the Steelers retire numbers?
They do not. Okay. They only have 1 number retired, I believe. They just don't give them out, but then they do give them out. Yeah. Like Connor Hayward has Heath Miller's number this year, which is weird. Well,
what I was thinking is when Jordan retired, the Heat retired that number over there in Miami. So you guys are retiring Tom Brady's number.
No, this is a bad joke because I'm sorry, but a better number 12 already wore it for the Steelers. That's Terry Bradshaw. So, sorry.
Hey, by the way, can we?
Well, it was already not given out.
Can we make fun of the Heat for doing that? That is the biggest soft move. Hey, bro, you whipped our butt so much, we had to retire that number. That's what in the world was going through their mind when they decided that was a good idea? That was a Pat Riley thing, right?
Yeah.
That was 100% Pat Riley.
And I believe they retired with a jersey that is half Miami and half Bulls, or it was half Wizards, half Bulls.
All I'm saying is that there's a word for what the Heat did to Michael Jordan when they retired his number, despite him never playing for him, that I cannot say on this show, but it said a lot on Twitter, and that's all I'm gonna say about that one. You know what I mean? Well, a phrase.
So the Steelers have a week. By the way, I noticed this about everyone's schedule. Every single AFC North team either has a week 9 or week 10 bye week. So no one's complaining about, the bye week comes too early, the bye week comes too late. The entire AFC North is off week 9 and 10. So, and they also, what I've noticed is that coming out of the bye, it's not like any team really has a big advantage, right? Like they're playing a one of the marquee games of their schedule coming off of a bye. I think the Ravens have coming out of the bye Carolina, Cleveland has Miami. The Steelers have New Orleans. So coming out of the bye, it's not like anyone has a real advantage. These next 4, I think the big one obviously is Cincinnati coming out of the bye again. The rest of them. What's that? Matt Ryan. Listen, you guys aren't in on the Matt Ryan memes from my days on Locked On Steelers, but that is going to be a very fun week for me when I do my appearance on Locked On Steelers. Because that is going to be the first time the Steelers have played Matt Ryan in quite some time.
The GOAT.
Yeah, and then the last 5. I mean, again, I think the only thing I really didn't like about the Steelers schedule, other than they don't get a home opener, or the opener at home, I should say. Is this Ravens twice in 4 weeks? Not as bad as every 3 weeks, but still, injuries are going to play a part here, right? Let's say Lamar goes down, or Najee goes down, or something. Someone at a position of like desperate need for those teams goes down for a couple weeks there. I mean, that can change the complexion of not just one game there, but both games in the series. The other thing I'll say about the Steelers' schedule overall is I thought it was crazy. I think it's crazy to me, although it does. I mean, it speaks to the quality of the franchise itself. They give the Steelers the max primetime games, 5. And this is post Ben Roethlisberger. Steelers have 5 primetime games already. That's not accounting for any kind of flex later on in the season. So props to the NFL for that. What's that?
Yep, we got 5. It was a bunch of teams that got 5, though. Honestly, it was like a gang of teams that got 5.
What about the Ravens?
3.
Ravens got 3.
Thank God. I would have go for less.
Hey man,
because for you, see, the way I think of it is like, I don't have to because I don't have Sunday tickets, so I have to figure out a way to watch the 1 o'clock
you're like,
Sunday.
I don't have to figure it out, but yeah. For Sunday, that's just pain.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I gotta stay up till 4 a.m. to watch this stuff.
You like they better not have 5. Until they get flex.
We didn't. By the way, we didn't do over under for the Browns.
Browns.
Because there's no Vegas over under.
There is no Vegas line.
There is no Vegas line. All right. What about Steelers?
What if I put the Browns line at 8? What would you guys take?
I would have said.
Is that what Vegas put it at?
There's no. You literally cannot bet. There's no line for Vegas.
Yeah, because they don't know who the quarterback's going to be.
Tony's gambling cave. Let's say I put it at 8. What would you guys take?
I'll take.
Chad, I want to hear from you too.
Take the over. Take the over.
Yeah, for the Browns, I'll take the over. Yeah.
Learn my lesson with the Steelers the last 2 years.
They won 8. Well, you have to think about it like this.
Browns at 8. Browns at 8.
Oh, Browns?
Browns at 8.
Watson under what kind of suspension?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying right now. You just gotta bet it without knowing.
I'm gonna say over. I'm gonna say over.
Yeah.
Over 8.
I would say over because they won 8 last year with the 27th ranked quarterback play according to QBR last year, right? So if Jacoby Brissett can be at 27th or better, then they probably win more than 8 games.
I should have said it at 7.5. That's dumb. I got to work on my handicapping. Yeah. 8 gives you push protection. Silly.
Yeah.
Silly line on my own part. All right, then we'll go to the Steelers. The Steelers under is 7.5. The Steelers over under is 7.5.
I would take the over on that.
I'm definitely taking the over on that. That's. I mean,
man.
The Steelers are locked for 8 or 9 wins this year.
Look, dog, I saw Doug Hodges and Mason Rudolph win 8 games. So, I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
I know it's a different AFC now, but still, I just can't.
I might take the over, but will this be the year that Tomlin goes under 500 for the first time?
Well, everybody gets
8
one.
8 would be under. 8 would be under.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, he can't go 500 anymore unless he ties.
Well,
so he could go in.
Hey, listen, don't say that.
Don't say
they can't. They absolutely can. Tomlin proved that last year. He tried. It won too many games.
How bad do the Browns need to? How bad?
What would Jeff Fisher do in this world?
Week 1 streak. I mean,
that's really it. They need to win the damn game. That's other than that, they're gonna keep losing week 1 until they win the damn game. You know what I mean? Like,
if they win week 1, then you have to believe like this is it. This is a real.
This is the year that they will do it.
This is our year.
They win.
Yeah.
But until they do it, like.
A lot of people think like, week 1, it's a mirage. It doesn't matter. It's a long season. And,
no, that's Groundhog's Day for the Browns.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
In Cleveland, this is the tone setter. This is it. It's win or loss. Right?
Secretly, I was hoping that we played Cincinnati in week 1 at Cincinnati. I'm like, you know what? Like, maybe it outbalances each other. We win by 3. Like, I don't know. Like,
okay, so here is your defending champions of the AFC, the Bengals. And they start with the Steelers right away, and then we see our favorite. I'm going to be checking really hard what we do against the Jets. Now I'm intrigued.
Wait, it's going to be like with the Texans. Remember with the Texans a couple years ago?
Are we seeing the origins of a weird like Titans-Ravens rivalry right now? Like Jets versus the entire AFC North is going to become a rivalry because of like the spaces.
This happened with the Texans
right now.
The Dolphins is even crazier, bro. The Dolphins might be even crazier.
But the Dolphins were floating 500 in the past 2 seasons. So
bro, Tua is an elite quarterback that is coming to wreak havoc on the AFC North. All right,
you guys know I can't hate the
ball 40 yards.
I can't hate the Dolphins. You guys know how much I love their coach. Listen, they got the nerd coach, and I'm bought
they got
in.
the nerdy guy.
That's right.
They got the nerd guy. I'm bought in. You know, you guys were mocking people for having second teams, but you know, I'm hurting. I'm
You
trying.
mean
not
your
to.
third team?
I'm
Because your
trying
second
not
team's
to.
the Cleveland Browns. Your second team.
Oh
is
yeah,
the
big
Cleveland-
guy. Well, I think I dropped the whole Cleveland thing last year, but I think I shed that tag last year.
That's Miami. You need a Florida team, is what you're saying. You need.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Out there cheer
But
for
I
them
think
two Ducks.
looking at these
I mean,
first
he is
four
the sequel to Duck
games-
Hodges.
First 4 games, I mean, you get Pittsburgh early, which I think is to our advantage, right? Because they're still either you're gonna get Mitch Trubisky or you're gonna get Kenny Pickett, and it's gonna be that first kind of game. It kind of reminds me of when we played the Chargers, not last year, but the year prior. They still had Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert. Obviously, Herbert, I don't want to compare him to Kenny Pickett, but kind of a similar situation where you got a guy that could be a veteran that could start, and you got another guy. So I think, you know, with that being their first game, I feel like that bodes well. I'm really excited about week 2, though. I've never been to Jerry's World, so I'm thinking about making that trip at Dallas. But I think that could be a tough one. I don't think anybody else in the division plays Dallas. I don't know why we ended up playing Dallas, but
no, because it's NFC. All of us play NFC East, and then you play the first team. Steelers play the second. The third.
So it looks like we don't do the whole AFC East thing. I think what it is, we do play the AFC East, but not like in that same straight back-to-back structure as you guys. So you get the Jets in New York, you get the Dolphins at home. I think that'll be an interesting game. And then week 5 at Baltimore, that's going to be a big game. Week 6 at New Orleans, I kind of like that one. It's a homecoming of Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow in Louisiana. I think that's going to be extremely interesting. I want to see like what jerseys and stuff are going to be in the crowd. Obviously,
and it's like they just brought back Jarvis. They just brought back Tyrann Mathieu. They might bring back Odell, who's not going to play at that point of the year.
Ooh,
but it's going to be like
they got to get Ed Orgeron to be their coach. Let's go.
I mean, they did have Paul Blart Mall play their coach in the movie. But yeah, it's gonna be one of those situations where it's just gonna be is Joe Burrow gonna change his last name like he did that one time at LSU to the
come out with
Joe
the Bengals
Brooks
jersey on?
Yeah, with the Bengals jersey on with the EUAX at the end of it. Is that what Joe Burrow gonna do? You know what I mean?
Hey man, I'm gonna have to go get some etouffee, some gumbo.
La'el Collins, another LSU Tiger return.
Oh, there's a ton of LSU Tigers on the Bengals, so it's gonna be.
Y'all might trade for Greedy Williams just to have him down there. You know what I mean?
Can we go back a second to this Baltimore game, because I'm just noticing this on the schedule. The Bengals have a Thursday game prior to that game, and then so they get 10 days rest going into that game.
Okay,
that's a little bit. I don't love that.
Poor Ravens. I'm predicting the booty beat down now.
The Bengals schedule, actually, I'm looking at the Bengals schedule all the way through, like top to bottom. They got some BS schedule in here, like compared to the rest of the division, because they have.
I mean, it starts out pretty nice, but that end, once we get to that, you'll start to see. So you got the Atlanta Falcons. You go to Cleveland, which is always a tough game for us for sure. You get the Panthers, which is a layup. I feel like after that one, depending on how their quarterback situation is going. Great defense though. Then you're in Pittsburgh, and then you go to Tennessee.
Off a bye, though. Off a bye.
That is true.
They need 2 weeks to prepare for Kenny Pickett. Okay, that's fine.
2 weeks for Kenny Pickett, dog. We're waiting. 2 gloves, 2 weeks. Hey, it is what it is. Okay, so then we go to Tennessee, and then I think this is where the gauntlet starts, right? Like, I'm not gonna say week 12 because I just feel like Tennessee's kind of going to take a step back this season. But then you get into the gauntlet, and it starts with Kansas City. Then you go to the Browns with Deshaun likely at that point. Then you go to Tom Brady. Then you go to Belichick at Gillette, it looks like. And then I think we get Buffalo. So I guess we're all getting the Josh Allen, Tom Brady combo. So we're going to get it late that season. Oh, no. So we don't get it back-to-back. It looks like there's actually – a 1-game split for us. So this
you get Belichick in between, smash between Belichick, which is like,
Belichick, Mac Jones. Let's get it, Mac Jones. And then we end at Baltimore, man. I love the end of our schedule. I kind of wonder though about that Bills one. Like, is it a miss that they put it this late in the season? Like, what if Buffalo gets out to some demanding lead in the AFC? I think they were thinking, like last season, Chiefs Bengals, where it was that week 17, where that's where we actually won the North. So I think they were thinking that, but I'm just hoping that it's not one of those like throwaway games at the end of the season.
Remember, there's only one bye, so they might think, okay, these are two teams. They're gonna be fighting for having the best record in the AFC, so they might need it to keep that one bye. It's not like previous years,
right? So overall, I think like the schedule to me starts out favorable for us, and then the end is where it's going to be tough, and it's like we're going to have to earn that playoff spot at the end of the season with all of those teams in the AFC at that point.
Yeah, I like when they do the scheduling this way. When you take these, you look at them just from a matchup perspective there at the end of the year, right? You got the Bengals playing the Titans, which is a playoff rematch. Then they play the AFC Championship rematch the very next week. Then they have the Cleveland game. Then they you got Brady and then Josh Allen and then Belichick. I love the end of the schedule, but I will say, it's hard. I think when you look at that stretch there, right? I think Bengals fans say, wow, that's going to be a crazy stretch. Remember last year we said the exact same thing about the Steelers' end of their schedule, right? We looked at the last 4 games of the Steelers' schedule a year ago and said, holy cow, gauntlet schedule. They have to play Tennessee and then Kansas City, and then they finish with Cleveland and Baltimore. And that's because before the year, we looked at, while we didn't look at Tennessee as being the best team in the AFC or the number 1 seed, right? It was still going to be a playoff team. And then we thought Baltimore and Cleveland were going to be, just these powerhouse teams. And by the end of the year, the Baker Mayfield was 60 minutes away from quitting when they played him. And then, the Baltimore was a JV squad. Yeah, he did. He was 60 minutes away from quitting.
He legit quit after that. The Steelers did take Odell and Baker. The Steelers ended this era of Cleveland Browns football. Like the one moment that the Browns had was that one win, and the Steelers were like, "Oh, y'all think y'all gonna have that? We're going to take Odell off this team, and then we're going to swing around and take Baker Mayfield off." I have never seen – look, that's why Big Ben came back. He knew that was going to happen. Like, somebody from the future was like, nah, bro, you want to kick it for one more year. I promise you. Like,
yeah, you'll get your revenge. Don't worry about it.
No. Because when Ben won both of those games, I've never seen him cry after beating the Browns. He cried after both of those games. And I was like, he knew. This dude knew it. I hate Big Ben. Oh, God. I'm so glad both him and Antonio Brown finally out the league and out of my nightmares. Thank goodness. You know what I mean? Good riddance.
For now, Ben said he might want to play again.
Tony,
he can play with Drew Brees in the USFL. I don't care at that point. You know what I mean? If you want to be a mauler, he can be a mauler. You know what I mean? But nah.
Yeah. There was a silly report like I don't know, a week and a half ago or something that like there was bad blood between the Steelers because
I saw that bad blood between Ben and the Steelers.
So silly.
You don't like Mason Rudolph.
I did hear that he reached out to Kenny Pickett though, right?
Loves Kenny. He loves Kenny. Basically, he loves anyone who will stop Mason Rudolph from ever being successful.
No, it's one of them things where it's like you see somebody, you like, look, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know what I mean? And that's what he was like. I like anybody that's not gonna be Mason Rudolph. You know what I mean? It wasn't a
Yeah, someone told me on Twitter, they're like, no, Ben and Mason, like, Ben started saying nice things about Mason after he retired or whatever. It's like, that's fine. But this dude, as soon as Mason got drafted, went on the radio and said, why did we draft this kid?
Yeah.
I'm not retiring.
Yeah.
It's like
kind
it's like when Lamar
after he was threatening to retire like very publicly before that.
Yeah,
it's like when Lamar tweeted out WTF after the Ravens drafted an offensive lineman, and the media was like, "Oh no, I want to talk about that." What were you talking about, Lamar? What were you talking about? Not talking about that.
So this is an interesting one because if you want to take the under, there's a good line for the Bengals. If you want to take the over, there's another good line for the Bengals. This is either 9.5 or 10, depending on where you go, depending on what book you use.
I'll take the over on 9.5.
On 9.5?
Yeah.
You taking the over on 10 though?
On 10? Yeah, I think the Bengals probably win. I think for Bengals, probably between 11 and 13 games.
So I'm sure Ace has heard, because Ace has been a part of probably like a billion Twitter spaces at this point. So I'm sure, Ace, you've heard the word regression about 10,000 times. Yes. I'm sure you're tired of hearing it. It is, look, I don't want to abandon those people because I do feel like, I don't want to say I started the regression train with Cincinnati last year when I started talking about it in like week 5. I was a little premature. I will admit I may have been a bit premature in my talk about that offense.
15 weeks premature.
Exactly. I may have been about a year and a half off on the regression talk. But no, look, I actually agree with the people who say that offense is probably going to regress from one perspective, right? When I talked last year about, look, they got to be more consistent on play to play. They're not going to be able to just make big plays all the time. Well, they did. I mean, they made big plays all the way up until the Super Bowl when like that offense was, big play or bust, even in the Super Bowl, right? We can talk about the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, like the big plays they made in that game. So I do think that they won't be able to make the amount of 50-50 catches and the crazy, 70 yards out of nowhere type plays. But the problem I have with the regression people is, okay, even let's say that happens. Let's say that the Bengals are far worse in that category. They regress closer to the mean in that category. Weren't we saying, weren't us, the regression crew, saying a year ago about the Bengals that they're a year too early? That in 2022, that's when all these people they're all going to play together. This is when it's going to start to gel. This is when it'll start to come together. So even if you believe that, yeah, last year, like they can't maintain that level of the big play and everything, we've also been saying that it'll be this year likely when that kind of down to down offense gets to a point where you do consider this team to be a contender. So yeah, I think I would probably take the over 9.5 here. I'm tempted by the regression people to take the under at 10.
Oh man,
but I can't do it.
I don't think they go under 9.5.
And I feel like a trader. But I have to take the over.
I learned my lesson from last year. I'm gonna let them Bengal fans feel how they feel. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna stand in the way of their joy because last year I was like, no, y'all gonna be trash, and then that blew up in my face. So you know what? I will take the over with the Cincinnati Bengals, but then if they stink, I'm going to point and laugh. Best believe I'm going to point and laugh. Yes, of course.
Cover your bases. Cover your bases.
I mean, but until then, stay out my damn DMs. You know what I mean?
Like,
yeah. I start talking. You know what I mean? Everybody talks when they up. You know what I mean? So gotta let them have it. They win it right now. They went to the AFC Championship and won and beat the Chiefs 2 times. I can't say nothing about that. Is it possible that they can have a better team this year and regress? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, and when I mean regress record-wise, right? They might not win 10 games, but they're going to be a better team. What might make them a dangerous wild card team. But am I going to sit here and predict that? No, absolutely. I've done enough betting against Joe Burrow, betting against Lamar Jackson, and betting against Ben Roethlisberger in this division to have learned my lesson on all 3 of these fronts. In the last 3 years, it's literally gone clockwork. It's been like, let me sleep on on Lamar. Let me sleep on Ben. Let me sleep on Joe Burrow. And then I get embarrassed every year. I am not sleeping on any more AFC North quarterbacks at all. You know what? I'm not even going to sleep at Baker Mayfield at this point. Baker Mayfield will go around win 14 games with somebody next year. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done having it happen to me. All right? I'm going to just let these Bengals feel great because I'm tired of me hating on somebody all off season just to look like a goddamn fool when the regular season starts. I'm good. Bengals gonna be 12 wins.
Okay. That being said, we were able to compact everything into the one episode. That means starting next week, we gotta rank. I know we threw a poll there. People said start with the offense. We'll start with the offense. I don't know if we should start with the QB.
Right? Go right in order, baby.
Go right into it.
Right in order. Did you guys see the averages of my rankings that came out?
It's gonna be a tough one.
You know, it's funny. We do special teams. We don't do special teams. I'm so against it. We do coaching though. Like we might as well do special teams on that aspect, but we just not gonna do it. You know what I mean? Special teams. We could this could be a Twitter. If we get to 10,000 subscribers on this channel, we'll do a Twitter exclusive or video exclusive or whatever. We're not going live, but we'll do a quick one. You know what I mean?
It's gotta be live. It's gotta be live.
No, I refuse to do this.
I just want
10-5 for it to be live.
Ace, a man has to have a cold. Okay.
This is Tony's.
This is mine. This is mine. You can't read anything. I blurred it out. There's no spoilers.
Oh, the one that wasn't blurred out had like the Steelers.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, I did have a there is one. Yeah, if you want to see it, the real one.
I'm surprised you didn't keep the meme up and put all the Bengals things at 4. I guess you didn't want that raf either.
I thought about that, but then I was just memeing at this point, and I wanted to hide like what the real numbers were. Okay, so I want to point something out. By the way, I did special teams, so I ranked special teams already. So One thing I do want to point out though, so at the bottom, I put the averages down there, and because I know that's how Sonny does it. And I noticed that the Steelers were like far better than the Browns. Like, wow, the Browns are like by far the worst team in the division. And I actually started playing with the numbers to see if I could like, okay, well, I mean, because I don't believe that. I don't believe the Steelers have a better roster than the Browns. But I do think that like I love this because I thought it would trigger some Browns fans, and it did. But I do think that there is a flaw in the way we do the rankings by averaging it out because it doesn't account for, like take quarterback, for instance.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Yeah, like I'm going to have the Steelers at 4. The team at 3 is not equally close to the team at 2. But, you know what I mean?
Have to wait it. You have to wait it.
Yeah, you have to wait it. But I thought this was
without waiting it, I just
it's like wide receiver. You know what I mean? The Bengals are going to be at 1, but I don't think 3. Well, I don't think 2 is very close to 1 in that conversation. You know
I'm
what
allowed
I mean?
to take rookies into account now, right? Because I did this with rookies in account, baby.
Okay, wait.
Yeah,
wide receiver 1.
Thank you.
Wide receiver.
Let me say this. So, because I haven't done it this way before.
The Bengals have 3 wide receivers that would probably start over almost everybody. Well, over what? Amari Cooper. Well, Amari Cooper would probably be the one that like maybe Tyler Boyd doesn't start over. And then on the Steelers, maybe Deontay Johnson starts over Tyler Boyd. But other than that, he's like, if you gave the Bengals receivers to the Ravens, they would all start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we're gonna take account on rookies, right? This is gonna be a first for me. And then injured players, we're just gonna assume they're gonna come back.
Oh, okay. Wait. Yeah. Hold on. I got another one. Are we just assuming are we not factoring in like this person's coming off of a freaking ACL?
You gotta shoot your shot, man. You gotta shoot your shot.
You have to project that on a case-by-case basis. If you feel like this dude's going to come back from this injury, put yourself out.
Just because Deshaun Watson sat out a year that he's not going to be Deshaun Watson.
No, but let's just say,
I'm
not saying that any team in our division.
I don't know. He did kind of scare me because he said something in his interview. He was like, "Yeah, I haven't played for a year, but I feel like I'm in the best shape I've ever been in." I was like, "Oh no! Oh no! No! I don't ever want to hear that."
Working with too. Let's say that there's a team in our division. I'm not saying that there is, but let's just say that there's a team in our division who really loves to run the ball. They're rebuilding their offense around running the football, and both their running backs suffered devastating season-long injuries coming off. I should probably take that into account, right? I mean, like we're good. We're good taking it into account.
You know what I mean? Okay. That's how it goes.
Unless they sign Mike Davis, in which case I got to put him 1.
Do you? I think there's another team that had another 100-yard rusher as their third running back, and he might not even make the team this season. Okay.
Did you see that like Bo Scarborough is like a backup running back in the USFL right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Poor Bo.
That's crazy. He was like the #1 recruit in high school.
I know. And then you look at his body type, you're like, well, how different is he really than Derrick Henry? But then if you look at his athletic profile, you're like, okay, no, I get it.
Then you look at his feet and you're like, Derrick Henry runs like he's 6 foot. Bo Scarborough runs like he played offensive line at times. Feet not bad, but maybe he should be a lineman. I think he missed his call.
Big dude. We talked about this earlier.
Incredible shape. Yeah.
But Joe just got a notification from Bleacher Report with the tagline: Bengals safety has no plans to play under the franchise tag. I think that's actually from my guy Tyler Dragon of USA Today, Fang Morrow. So thank you for that super chat. Yeah, man, it's gonna get interesting with Jesse Bates. But
so to be fair, how many
the Bengals are shrewd enough though that they would just make that out.
No, but like I was gonna say, how many players every year will get franchise during the offseason are like
franchise tagged and hold out?
I'm not playing, and then just before the season started, they're like, okay, this is hurting my wallet, right? And I need to show.
But the tricky thing about this situation is his agent, right? Because like if this were any other player, I'd be like, all right, but this is Dave Morgetta, so like I think that he's legit willing.
He gonna get that thing done.
Yeah,
that's Deshaun Watson's agent, right?
That's Deshaun Watson's agent. Same agent as Deshaun Watson.
No.
This is the guy that brags about how much guaranteed money he gets his players. So no, he's really gonna stick his foot down.
He is going to be the new Drew Rosenberg or Rosenhaus. Remember how people used to fear when their best player was signed with Drew Rosenhaus? And they were like, oh, man, he's going to hold out. Oh, no, he ain't got nothing on David. David is out here. He got Deshaun Watson $250 million guaranteed after a year off of football. I'm just saying. That nah, I don't want nothing. They're gonna act like he Rich Paul in like a couple of years. Like, no.
But hey, Jesse, I love you. But yeah, dog, that money gotta go to T. Higgins, bro. That money gotta go to T. Higgins and Joe Burrow if it comes down to that.
Wasn't he Tyreek Hill's agent too?
I think
no, I think it's Drew Rosenhaus. I think that's
Drew Rosenhaus.
I think Rosenhaus is Tyreek Hill, but I'm not 100% on that. I do want to point out, by the way, and I know we all put up with this because this is like the era we live in where everything has to be clickbait. But how stupid is this headline from Bleacher Report? Bengals safety has no plans. Von Bell might not show up. Like, what are we doing? Okay, Bleacher, you can put Jesse Bates in there. You can put Jesse Bates in there.
He's a famous enough player, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think we can all. Jesse Bates has no plans to play in a franchise.
That's what you would do if, like, it was.
Dax Hill has no plans on.
Yeah, exactly. Dax Hill's not going to play into the franchise tag this year.
That's like when they want to say like a Steeler quarterback might not play. They go Steeler quarterback might not play for week 1, and it's like, it's Josh Dobbs. Got hurt.
Right.
Tony, that's super chest for you. So
No, I like this one. Okay, so he says Tony will be humbled week 1 when Cincinnati backhands Mitch or Pickett. I'm going to be hit. Okay, hold on. Time out. I don't think Steeler fans are going to be humbled by Cincinnati in week 1. Maybe it was a little humbling 2 years ago. Maybe you remember this, Bengals fans, when they lost to Vanilla Vic. You guys remember that game a little bit? Do you remember in week 3 of last year when the Steeler fans were trying to convince ourselves that Ben isn't washed, and then we played the Bengals and it was like, oh my God, Ben Roethlisberger is not the same dude. Or maybe the Steelers were humbled last year when they got so demolished that it was an absolute embarrassment to watch when they traveled to Cincinnati last year. Ben threw a pick six, a meaningless pick six at the end of the first half. Yeah, that's how broken that game was, that the pick six didn't even hurt that bad because the game was already over by that point. No, I'm not really worried about getting humbled in week 1. I think the Bengals have pretty well humbled the Steelers to this point. I have some low expectations when it comes to facing this particular Bengals team.
And to Tony's point, I don't think anybody's getting humbled week 1, right? Like, it's the first week of the season. So, like, whether you go out and win or lose, it's hard to be like, oh, I've been humbled week 1 because, by week 6, you really know how things are going to kind of go to the season and who's who.
Yep.
It would hurt. I will say it would hurt if Kenny's first game were like an out and out, just disaster. Like, multiple interceptions, single-digit completions type thing. Yeah. If it were like that would be rough. And the Bengals have the Steelers' number defensively. I mean, you look at Ben's splits, not just going the last 2 years, right? Go look at Ben's splits against the Bengals for a while.
That is what I try to tell Browns fans all the time, because it's like, yeah, we used to lose to the Steelers, but Ben never murdered us. Ben used to give us. Ben was the gift that kept on giving. I mean, he just was very friendly with that football.
I think his best game was probably the game in Burrow's rookie season. I think he actually had some decent numbers in that game, but other than that, I mean, it was just a nightmare playing the team.
Him and Reggie Nelson were really good friends. Him and Reggie Nelson were friends.
Yeah, they would run. Yeah, they would. Yeah. It's tough.
Well, guys, now next week we're coming back with the QB position ranking show. So that's going to take us at least the next 2 months, probably. We're going to go through all
the QB rankings are going to take 2 months?
No.
Are we taking suspensions into account? Is another argument.
I did.
Because how in the world did you rank that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I took contract situations into account too.
Oh my God, Tony about to rank the Browns quarterback rule
I
number
took contract. 4. This is you want.
There is no way.
Are we taking hand size into account?
We are taking hand size.
Hey, if rookies are on the table, nothing is off the table. I took contract disputes at multiple positions. I kept them on. So
will the Ravens? I got
position.
A clickbait headline for next week's show. Will the Ravens trade Lamar Jackson?
Oh my God! This is the wish of the AFC North, not Ravens team.
Our wish isn't for Lamar Jackson to get traded. By the way, we'll settle for trade. We want him just to walk out on the Ravens. You know? What I mean?
No compensation.
No compensation.
For sure.
No compensation whatsoever.
That's right.
I know.
Okay. So join on. Well, we'll see what day next week is. It should be a fun one, guys. QB rankings, position rankings is kind of about to start. Take care. We'll see you guys next time.